While I was in jail, in the Harrison County Jail, I spent all night talking to an older black guy about his domestic disturbance um, charge. He was in his late 50s and he was very open about talking about it. And being fresh in there, I was in isolation for over an hour, then moved to the general population, and just this guy just started telling me about his case, and so I listened. We talked for 2 days. The first was maybe an hour and a half, and then the second time was all night within my 24-hour period. And he told me everything. And I'm no marriage counselor, but I have my opinions, and I gave him my perspective on the all the situations that he felt that he was in the right on. So his story was that this happened suddenly, without warning. His girlfriend, baby mama, who they have an 8-year-old child with, she's then this woman is 20 years younger than him. So he's at 58, she's at 38. They had they met when she was 28. Um, and yeah, they had an 8-year-old girl. Um, his wife, or no, his girlfriend suspected that he was cheating on her, and then tried provoking him by stealing some money, and then she accused him of cheating on her, and then just grabbed his wallet and took money out of it. He got angry, and he was on the phone at the time with his sister, and his sister heard his phone get slapped out of his hand and fall to the ground. He visibly had marks on his, like scratches on his side of his face, because he was holding his cell phone to his face, and that his girlfriend slapped the phone out of his face and caused injury. And he like um I don't know, this he said this girl that allegedly he cheated with, did not denied it, and he denies it, so it didn't happen. um and and then he went outside, because he knows how this goes. He went outside as quickly as he could, uh, and called 911, believing that being the first person to call 911 makes you look the most innocent. And then the cops arrested him and left the baby mama at home. She was a white woman, 38-year-old, and I saw her. She showed up at the court hearing, to not to get him back, to keep him in jail, to get a protective order against him. Her side of the story is, and I don't know how he's got some written statements, I guess, from her in the police report that he showed me. And she claims he chased her with a hammer. He pushed her, and she was scared for her life, for herself. So there's that situation. It all happened suddenly. According to him, it all happened suddenly, and it was all over something he thought was silly that could be easily proven correct, and he's willing to bring the girl that allegedly he was cheating on his baby mama with to court to testify. Uh, so there's that story. Who's right, who's wrong? It's a he said, she said. He said that he installed some cameras inside the house because he felt like it was getting tense in the house, and there might be something on video that he could get from the cloud that shows that he was not chasing his baby mama with a hammer down a particular hall. So he just needs to get out of jail to get that information. And I start asking questions. Particularly, I focused on romance with him. I was curious because he kept saying that it happened suddenly and that it was a surprise. And I don't believe it was a surprise. I believe that there's probably more indicators beforehand that he was ignoring. I focused on romance. So I was like, okay, when did you guys stop being intimate with each other? And it was like a few weeks before that, a couple of months before that. Gradually, they were not being intimate with each other over towards the end of this 10-year relationship. That's a sign. He said at one point, he said she got in his face. And I responded with, well, you were in a relationship. She's supposed to get in your face to kiss you. I mean, to describe somebody that you were in an intimate relationship with as getting in your face, and really, and the way he said it made it sound like it was an aggressive thing. But I mean, if you're in an intimate relationship, getting in each other's faces is a good thing. So I'm no marriage counselor, but I was trying to let him see that this was falling apart well before this incident where his baby mama just suddenly started accusing him of cheating on her, and then her taking his money. They were not being intimate. They were sleeping separately, arguing, not going out on dates like when they were at the beginning. She didn't want to go anywhere. She just wanted to stay home. She didn't have a job. His job was working at a college, being a maintenance man. The Graceland College, just on the other side of the Iowa border. So it was falling apart before the cheating. They were not being intimate. So they kept living with each other. She was like dependent on him. I guess they had a child. That's what he felt obligated to keep it together for in his late 50s. But I kept trying to let him know that calling the 911 first does not indicate innocence. It's not a race to call 911 to prove your innocence. Oh, I called a 911 first. No, that's no argument. Bringing in the lady that's you cheated on with to testify that there was no cheating going on, I think that's weak too. But he believes that mentioning his baby mama's like medication use, like she may have gotten off medication, that would be interesting. Video, if that shows in his favor, I think that would be interesting to see. But video only picks up motion first, not sound first. That would be interesting if there was sound detection, motion detection. But if there's sound detection, then it would be going off a lot more. If they could cameras could keep separate files. Sound detection, motion detection. But if you wanted to watch them together, I don't know. It'd be interesting. Because sometimes motion detection is just not enough. When people are arguing off camera, when it gets to a certain decibel or something. Um, the daughter, he's not sure if the daughter witnessed anything. Um, this started with them in the bedroom, and the baby mama accusing him of cheating, and then well, she stole the money. That's another thing. She took money out of his wallet, and he got upset about that. It was cash, $300, and I tried to explain that she's not a robber who broke into his house and stole from him. They're in an intimate relationship where they share a lot of things, and this money is a shared item. I mean, she didn't steal she didn't steal your money out of your wallet. You're sharing everything in a relationship. I asked him if he had a bank card, if he had money on the bank card, and he said yes, he did. So it's not like she ran him dry. This money was to go to bills, and he got this money for helping his dad in Kansas City. And to me, it's not a reason to get in a fight over I mean, money causes a lot of fights, but not a reason to have cops show up. Over $300 she took from the wallet. It's not like she didn't just like break into the house, take the money, and run out. It wasn't a stranger. I mean, we're talking about, it's supposed to be was an intimate relationship in the beginning that just fell apart. He ignored the signs. I guess she ignored the signs, and then it got to the point where they needed a third party to intervene, the cops, because it was only going downhill. How much worse could it have gotten? The cops had to intervene because they weren't listening to this. They weren't looking for the signs. The levels of intimacy prove the signs, prove where you're going. I'm no marriage expert. I haven't had a relationship longer than 7 months. And I mean, we're talking like very few relationships at that. So I'm only going off of what I have that I can observe. I can't experience. I'm not talking from experience, but I think there's a falling apart that you have to look for. If it's like, okay, we're not going out on dates, that's it. We gotta call it quits. We're not being intimate with each other. I mean, and that's probably what a lot of these domestic disturbances divulge into is just this breakdown, and they're just ignoring the signs, thinking they're obligated to stick together because of the child. So we spent all night in jail talking about this. After the lights were turned off at 11 p.m., a guard even told him to shut up, because I don't think he was being that loud. He's got a naturally loud voice, but the guards told him to shut up, so we just had to lower our voices so everybody else could sleep. But everybody in jail got wired on coffee at like 8 o'clock at night. They were all drinking coffee, smoking their e-cigarettes. I had a headache because of the e-cigarettes in that jail. And there's like less than 20 guys in there, and then me and the black guy were just talking in a dorm about a locked bedroom area with a toilet and a shower. No, I don't think anybody used any of the showers when I was there in that 24 hours. But he was explaining this, and it's like, if I was in his shoes, some of those arguments I would not make. I would focus on medication, because I think chemical influence is a big part of the reason why people make a lot of bad decisions, and being on medications is really gonna cause a person to be out of their natural normal state of mind. So there's that. This woman was obese. I saw her. I asked her if she was obese, and he said yes, and that she's white. And I saw her, and she was very round. She didn't bring her daughter, though. It was only her and her mother that went to the court hearing. They didn't really say anything. I couldn't hear her voice, but they went up when he was standing in front of the judge, and she just stood there, and I couldn't really hear what was being said, but it sounded like she wanted to keep him away from her, right from the house, which is his house. And he's like, okay, if he gets out, he should get out of jail at some point. He's got to go back to his house and retrieve his stuff. And he sounds like he might violate the protection order. And I tried to suggest, well, why don't you have your sister go, the one who's on the phone with you as you were getting in this fight. Maybe she could go get your car, your stuff. But he's like, I want to look at my stuff. I want to look at my home, see what she did to it. So it sounds like there's going to be maybe future problems there. When he was walking away out of the courtroom, he recognized me, and he gave me a little fist bump, just like a really lighthearted fist bump, so no one else could see it, because he passed right in front of me, and I was like, okay, fine, you know. It's just, he's in a bad situation, and apparently he's gotten in this situation before with a previous woman. He's 58, so he's been on the earth for a while, and he got all those charges dropped. Very similar domestic disturbance charges. He got those dropped, so he's got experience. But still, the arguments he was making to me about being the first to call 911, and the money issue, getting in a fight about cheating and money, it's and then the chasing with the hammer, I don't know how he disproves that. He's like explaining that he's got a toolbox in a particular spot, and there's all kinds of tools, so it would be easy to accuse him to be within reach of a tool to grab and chase the baby mama with. So there's a lot of he said, she said. Video would make it more concrete, but he's kind of got witnesses on 9/11 with the recording there, and also the camera, and then his sister who was on the phone. Could they testify? Did they hear any threats? Did he make any threats to her? Did his baby mama make any threats to him that could have been picked up on a recording in some way, or a witness heard? Because threats are kind of a big issue between each other, and it works. They work better. As they're more solid to prove if there's a witness to that. So yeah, he was in a bad situation, and I don't know. It's just a weird to talk about a domestic disturbance with somebody in jail. If I didn't have to do that, I would not have. If I could have avoided jail and avoided that conversation, that'd be better. I'd rather not have those conversations. But when I'm invited into that kind of conversation, one-on-one, talk about his domestic dispute, I'll ask questions, and I focus on the romance part of it with him, because I thought that that would maybe help him see the problems a little bit easier, rather than talk about the fun of it, rather than talk about the money parts of it, or anything like that. Just talk about the romance. Where did the romance go wrong?